Ollie got a call from this lady, and she was very worried. But Ollie, it's just not my cat exactly, but there's this cat that I take care of, and she lives out in the alley. Although she sleeps on my back porch. She's basically my cat, but she's disappeared, and I'm very worried, and I want you to come help me find the cat. Well, I said, all right. Alley cats, they come and they go. I'm happy to help, but it might be kind of an expensive thing to spend your money on because it's going to take a while and it might not succeed. I want to put that up front. Sometimes alley cats just wander off. I said, I know, but he's been with me for 3 years now. I don't think he would. He's basically just my cat, but doesn't like to go inside very much. I don't think that he would just wander off. I said, all right, I'll do my best. I will be down there tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Is that all right? I said, yes, that'd be fine, thank you. So I did a little bit of reading. He'd gotten a description of the cat from the lady. So he started off doing some reading around, looking at some of the neighborhood message boards and Facebook groups and things like that. Look at anybody saying that they'd found a cat that matched that description. That wasn't what Ollie found. What he found instead was that a lot of people were missing cats. I thought, well, that's weird. There's always missing cats and found cats on boards like that. So having several missing cats wasn't remarkable, but having no found cats, that was a little unusual. And that was in not just that neighborhood, but also the couple of neighborhoods kind of in a circle around the neighborhood. So that's a little weird. I said, well, I better get to the bottom of this tomorrow, or at least get started.
Rainbow.
What?
I heard a pitter-pattering. Is it raining?
Shh. Oh, I don't know what the noise is. We'll investigate it later. So in the morning, Ollie went over there, and he actually went over there early, more like 8:30. So I wanted to look around outside first. So he walked around the neighborhood just looking. And there again, he saw some missing cat signs on, stapled or taped to light posts and things like that. And I thought, I hope this is nothing sinister. The other thing that he noticed was that there was some white goo around several of the sewer manholes. Not the sanitary sewer, but the rain sewer. If it had just been one, he might not have taken much note of it, but it was like 3 or 4 of them. But it was getting to be close to 9 o'clock, and Ollie didn't want to be late, so he headed over to the house. He's like, oh, thank you for coming. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so worried about... his name is Stephen. Her name is Stephen. I said, okay, so your girl cat is named Stephen. He said, yes, that's right. I know it's unusual, but I'm very fond of little Stephen. I didn't know Stephen was a girl until a while into having her, effectively be my cat. I said, all right, that's, whatever. So tell me a little bit more about Stephen and what kind of pattern Stephen normally has. He said, well, like I said, he likes to stay outside. He'll come inside when I feed him. So I'll usually open up the back door in the morning when I get down, about this time actually. And he'll come down while I'm having breakfast. He'll come in when I'm having breakfast, I mean. And I'll feed him some breakfast, and he hangs out for a few minutes, and then he heads back outside. And then he comes and goes, of course, but he's often in my backyard, either on my porch or out in the yard. Sometimes I see him walking across the top of the fence. He's a very cute little cat. I'm very fond of him. Even though he doesn't really come inside, when I'm outside, he'll come up and snuggle. He's a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart. I said, all right. And then what about other times of day that he does something kind of reliable? I said, well, I feed him again at night, usually around 7 o'clock. And so around 7 o'clock, he's usually there at the door. unless I have the door open. So I'll let him in and I'll feed him and he'll hang out for a few minutes. And then, sort of like before, he'll usually go outside again. But yeah, as of 2 days ago, no sign of him. He didn't come in the morning, he doesn't come in the evenings. I've left my door open basically all day, and still no sign of him. I'm so worried. No sign of her. I'm so worried. The cat can go inside, yeah. Just only does it for a few minutes at a time, though.
Lady inside.
The lady's inside, yeah. Okay, shh. Close your eyes and go to sleep. Or close your eyes and picture what I'm saying anyway. So, Ollie began to look around. And he went out back into the lady's backyard. Didn't really see anything. He went back out into the alley. And there was a storm drain manhole. And there again was that white goo. So Ollie got a stick and poked at the white goo. And it was sticky. I brought it up to his face and sniffed it. And he said, "That's odd." I said, "What is it? What is that stuff?" I said, "I can't be sure, but it smells sweet. It smells like marshmallows. I can smell it too." Yeah. It's a little weird that there be marshmallows around the edge of the manhole. What does that lead to? What is that? What is that? Oh, that's the storm sewer. You can tell from the markings on the manhole cover, but it doesn't explain why there'd be white sticky stuff. I've never seen that before. And I did mention it earlier, but this stuff is on several of the storm sewer manholes around here. I said, "Oh my. Do you think it's related?" I said, "I don't know. Do you have a crowbar?" I said, yeah, I have one in the basement. I'll get it." So she went and she got this big crowbar. It was perfect, actually. And I put it in the hole in the manhole cover, and wrenched on it, and the manhole came up with a crunk slide. I was glad he brought his flashlight, because he's going to have to go down into the storm sewer. I said, "You're going down there? Why?" I said, "Well, there's a lot of cats missing, not just yours. There's a lot of white sticky stuff on storm sewer manhole covers. And those are two unusual things. And usually in my line of work, when two unusual things are happening in the same place, they're connected." I said, "Oh. Plus, I know that cats go into storm sewers because there's rats down there and other stuff for them to hunt. So, do you know if there are any open storm sewer entrances around here?" I said, "Oh yeah, I mean there's several. You can see there's some of the corners, the curbs are open to the storm sewer, and down there in the train yard, there's an entrance there too. It's an overflow. It goes out instead of going in, but yeah, it's there." I said, "All right, that makes sense then. So the cats have easy ways in and out. All right, I'm going down. Keep your phone on you. In case I need to call with some sort of, yeah, I don't know, in case I need to call." And I clicked on his flashlight and climbed down the hole. And when we got down there, he quickly saw that there was the same white sticky stuff all over. And I realized that he was going to have to do something gross to get a key piece of information. So he touched the white sticky stuff with one of his tentacles, and it stuck. And he brought it to his face again, and he smelled it, and it still smelled like marshmallow. Took a deep breath, and he licked it. It was marshmallow. Undeniably marshmallow fluff type stuff. He suspected as much because, well, one thing, it was kind of everywhere. But in the areas where there was water, it was a storm sewer, so there wasn't standing water, but there was a little bit of a trickle. And around there, in the trickle, there wasn't the white sticky stuff, so it was dissolving there. All I could see the open entrance down into the train yard that she'd mentioned down at the end, down to the left. And so Ollie headed down to the right. He was very careful to keep his bearings, to keep his location in the right spot. He didn't want to get lost. It's not super hard for an octopus to get out of a storm sewer, but he didn't want to get all turned around, especially now when he didn't quite know what was down here. So he kept very careful track of where he'd turned, and yeah, he's got a pretty good memory. Pretty soon it became kind of obvious which way that he needed to go, though, because the marshmallow stuff got thicker and more frequent along a certain route. So he followed it. It was thicker and more frequent, and thicker and more frequent. And then he heard meow. A cat, or a cat anyway. So he headed further and faster in that direction. As he turned the corner, the storm sewer opened up into a large kind of a mixing chamber, probably where it dropped down to go into a bigger pipe. When he looked down there, he could pretty much see the bigger pipe, but it was a little bit hard to see because there was a lot of marshmallow stuff. He thought, well, I guess the marshmallow stuff could be drawing the cats in, but cats don't usually, most cats anyway, don't really do sweets. And as he was ruminating on this, he heard something coming. Not in the pipe that he was in. A pipe a little further down and off to the left. So Ollie sort of squeezed himself small so he could just barely be seen, and he watched. And there, quite to his surprise, came out of the pipe what can only be described as a marshmallow person. Bigger than a normal human. It was, I'd say 10 feet tall. It wasn't proportioned exactly like a human, but it was definitely humanoid. It had a head and shoulders and arms and a torso and legs. But the torso was small and the head was big, and it didn't really have hands or feet exactly. They just kind of flared out in cones. And when it stepped, it was leaving a little bit of marshmallow goo here and there. And when it touched the wall, it left a little bit of marshmallow goo here and there. And I thought, what a strange creature. As it came into the mixing chamber, it went over and it sat down on one corner, kind of off to the side, up above where the water drain came in. And I thought, this is kind of a dangerous place for a marshmallow monster. If these storm sewers started rushing in, then it would get washed away. And that's when he saw the cats. So as the marshmallow person came in came a bunch of cats. Meow, 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 meow. They were all following the marshmallow person. They all looked fine. A couple of them had some little bits of marshmallow stuck to them. They didn't seem to be distressed or in any harm. And as the cats came up and kind of surrounded the marshmallow person, a little part of the marshmallow person's kind of cone hand thing unfolded, and out plopped a bunch of pieces of fish. That explains why the cats liked him, Ollie thought. And the cats indeed swarmed over and started munching on the fish. Little cat fish feeding frenzy. So it's intelligent, or at least enough to catch or find fish. I guess it likes cats. If it's going to go through the trouble of finding food for cats, I'm going to take a gamble here. I just don't think it's a harmful thing. I think it's probably harmless. It might even be friendly. So he stood up and he started crawling down toward where the marshmallow person sat. And he crawled down in such a way that he could be seen easily. He got part of the way down where he was sure that a human sitting in that spot and I would have been able to see him. He said, pardon me, marshmallow person? The marshmallow person looked up. For the first time, all I could see that there were eyes in there. And a mouth. No nose. And it said, who are you? I said, well, my name's Ollie. I'm a private eye. I said, why are you here? Are you here to take me away? I said, no. I was hired by somebody whose cat went missing, and they were worried about the cat. Oh, I do like cats. I didn't mean to scare anybody, though. I've just been feeding them because they came around, and I like them. I can't really pet them, but, they're cute. I said, would it be okay if I took one of the cats back with me to show her owner that it's okay? I said, yeah, that's fine. I don't mean anybody any harm. I said, so, are you a human? I said, no, you've heard of elemental spirits. They have those in movies, right? I said, yeah, I'm kind of like that. I'm the spirit of sweetness. Spirit of sugary sweetness, I mean. I said, oh, and you live here in the sewer? Well, no, not normally. Normally, I have a little sugary palace off far away, but there was a flood. I got kind of turned around and swept down and found myself here, and, well, I knew I'd freak people out if I was just hanging out, so I went to go and hide. I said, do you need help getting back to your home? I said, well, I guess, yeah, that'd be great. But you're a talking octopus, and they don't seem to bother you. I said, no. No, some people are surprised, but people have been pretty good about it. Do you think, what if I'm wrong? What if people wouldn't mind a marshmallow person? I said, well, I'd be happy to introduce you to some of my friends and see how it goes. And so they made arrangements to do just that. It wasn't at all what I thought he was going to be getting up to that day, making introductions between his friends and the elemental spirit of sugary sweets. But, Ollie's days frequently don't go quite the way that he expects them to. He made arrangements with the marshmallow elemental to meet him at a park in 3 hours' time. And he called up a couple of his friends and said, hey, do you want to meet somebody you've never met before, I'm sure? Very interesting character. And two of them said, yeah, sure. Not doing anything. Meanwhile, Ollie found among the cats the lady's cat. He was pretty sure. It matched the description, and none of the other cats really matched the description. So he picked up the cat, who didn't really want to leave. He was enjoying the company of the marshmallow person. But he carried the cat, with minimal complaints, back to the lady, who was overjoyed to see Stephen again. Said, oh, Stephen, where have you been? Where have you been? Oh, where did you find him? Was he stuck in the sewer somewhere? And I explained the rather bizarre thing that he'd found. He doesn't always go into the weirdest things, but, she was paying for his time, so I guess she deserved to know that there was a sugary sweet elemental living in the sewer, befriending the cats. She said, could I come along too? Maybe we can figure out a way to share Stephen. I hate to tear him away from somebody that's loving on him, but I don't want to lose him either. And that's exactly what she did. She came along. And there again, something happened that Ollie would never have expected. Because as they got to chatting, the marshmallow and the elemental and the lady that hired Ollie decided that the easiest way for them both to enjoy the company of Stephen was because the marshmallow elemental came to be the lady's roommate. It was just her in that big old house, and she didn't mind having a new friend around. They had to make some arrangements to figure out how to keep everything from getting sticky all the time, but he mostly hung around and listened to audiobooks, so it was a pretty good arrangement. And the icing on the cake, or maybe the marshmallow fluff on the cake, was that when when the marshmallow elemental moved in, Steven started hanging out inside. With 2 friends to hang out inside with, Steven became an indoor cat. And everybody got more snuggles. And that is the case of the missing cat.